वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वर गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. I welcome everyone who are in the temple as well as who are online. Today on 27th of January 2024 at Durga temple in Markham. We are looking at a study of Gita and we started the chapter 3, Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga Nama Trutiyo Adhyaya. We started with chapter 3 and the first sloka, the Arjuna is asking a question which can be asked. We looked at it last time in Sanatan Dharma, in Sanatan way of thinking. You can ask a question. Even if there is a God in front of you, you can ask a question. In other schools of thoughts, it is do or die, don't ask why. In Sanatan Dharma, it is a completely logical reasoning, and that is why in Sanatan we can ask a question. If you don't understand, you can ask a question even to the God. And that is why, and that is how Arjuna is asking the question. Because the whole Sankhya Yoga, the Sankhya Yoga Nama Dvitiyo Adhyaya, the whole Sankhya Yoga in which the God told that, Dunya Maya hai, the world is mortal and your soul is immortal. Soul is important and world is not important because it is going to change and it is going to die one day. And so after understanding the whole Sankhya part, which we did almost 40 sessions on it, Arjuna has the same question as we have. We go to any temple or any place and there is a Panditji, there is a Maharaj, there is a Shastri, there is a Sannyasi, Pujari, anybody. They are telling Dunya Maya hai. Yeah. The world is illusion. The world is delusion. But then why should I be working in it? The question arises. And same question arises in the mind of the Arjuna also. Jayasi chet karmanaste. Jayasi, superior. Jayasi means superior. If you think that the mata buddhir janardana, if the intellect is more priority, is more superior than the karma, jayasi chet karmanaste, mata buddhir janardana, then tatkim karma ki ghore ma, then why are you telling me to fight a war? Because it is useless. One day the whole kingdom is going to die, I am going to die, everything is going to be, is mortal, is going to be, gone, vanished. Then why should I fight? Why should I even kill my kith and kin? The Arjuna question is exactly applicable to us also. There are so many questions which are answered in the 3rd chapter. All the majority of practical questions which are asked by all the curious people are answered in the 3rd chapter. So we will go further in the 3rd chapter. So he is asking, why are you tatkim karmani ghore ma? Yeah, in such a grave work, why are you pulling me in the war? Why are you pulling me in the war? Why are you telling me that to fight a war when everything in the world is mortal? And then the God answered, and that is the 3rd sloka which we saw last time. I will chant it again. Sri Bhagvanu Vacha Lokesmin Dvividha Nishtha Pura Prokta Mayanaga Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam Karma Yogena Yoginam. Lokesh means Dvividha Nishtha. There are two methods. There are two ways how people have got the Nishtha. There are two ways how the people are following the path. Jnana Yogena Sankhyana. Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya is the Jnana part, is the part by which the people get Brahma Nirvana. People attain a situation, a psychological situation through the understanding of intellect. That is Jnana Yoga. And Karma Yogena Yoginam. 3rd chapter is based on Karma Yoga. And then we talked last time, understood that those people who do only karma or only jnana, what are the pitfalls? What are the areas where a person will go into a wrong direction? What are the things which are going to create an issue if there is no yoga word, the yoga, the connection, getting connected is not there. If yoga is not there, what happens with only jnana and only karma? We saw it last time. And we also saw the word nishpap, anaga, Pura prokta maya anaga, my nishpap, my sinless. And we talked about it also that if Arjuna has fought in multiple wars and killed so many warriors, he was going for hunting and he killed so many animals, how he can be sinless? And then we also raised a question, a similar way, how Yudhishthir, a Dharmaraj, who is putting for a bait his wife and his brothers in gambling, how he can be called as a Dharmaraj? So all these questions, all these practical questions which are being asked will be answered in this chapter, Karma Yoga, in this chapter. All these practical questions are answered in this third chapter. Now, we talked about it and we have to recap that some of the point we have to recap very clearly, because the definition of karma is is clouded by multiple thoughts, and we have to understand the word karma first. If we do not understand the word karma, then karma yoga will be challenging. So we talked last time that karma means what I am doing is karma, and we talked last time also there are psychological, physiological and all those things we talked. So let us do some recap, because it is very important that on the base of this the karma yoga chapter is built. So number one part is karma is applicable only when there is a free will. This is fundamental one line. If those people who are interested, maybe they can write or they can keep in mind the bullet points. The theory of karma is applicable only to the free will people. If a tiger is killing a deer, we cannot say a tiger has done a papa. Why? Because tiger is supposed to kill a deer and eat. It will not become a chartered accountant and go to a downtown Toronto and do the job. So anything which has got a free will, that is where the karma Siddhanta, the theory of karma is applicable. Number one, bullet point number one. So anywhere where there is no free will, the karma is not applicable. Even if the person is of free will, let us take an example. Suppose somebody shows a knife to another person and says that if you are not going to, harass that person who is coming on the road, I am going to stab you. Now that person is having a free will because he is a human being, he has a free will. But at that moment, it doesn't have a free will because he is compelled to do something. So remember, so even if that person is harassing the other person, as a result, he is not liable or responsible to great extent. And we will go in some micro mechanism of it. But he is not liable. Why? Because he has been compelled to do it. A person is doing chori kiya. One person is going to a shop and stealing a piece of bread. Why? He didn't get a job. He has no money to feed his family. So he did the stealing. So all this compulsion, all this not having a knowledge. A 3-year-old child is unknowingly hurting his 1-year-old brother. Unknowingly. All these things, all this, the bullet point and all the sub-levels are not applicable in case of a karma yoga. It is not applicable as karma. So number one bullet point. So it is not considered as a part of sin or wrongdoing or bad karma and against the principles of karma. This is number one part. The second part, the karma for each person is decided by the varna. And we talked about it before, and there are multiple people who have talked for ages and centuries against this, and I will be talking about it, which is called as a casteism. It has been misrepresented as a casteism. Varna is not caste. Varna Vyavastha is not a caste system. So here the karma is given in two ways, and we will take lots of examples today on it. Karma is divided or represented in two ways. One is my natural inclination. How I am naturally built. Why? Because I am built with my punarjanma. When I took my rebirth, I decided, I selected to be of that nature. This is a true nature, internal nature by which we are born. That is the 50% of major part of the karma definition. What we are going to talk about karma yoga, the word karma in that is our natural inclination, our natural method, our natural way, our natural liking to do any action, to do any work. And that is what is called here as a karma. And the second part is the professional work which we have selected to do. Now, if the professional work is jiving with my natural work, then I am the happiest person in life. Take, for example, Tiger Woods. He likes to play golf and he is in the business of golfing. Then he is the happiest person because he has not to do what we call as a work every day because he likes to do it. We always say if you are in a business which you like to do, then you are not going to the job every day. So one is our natural inclination and other is our professional selection. Now let us take another example. Suppose a person's natural inclination is timid. Okay, he is not a brave person. He is a timid person. He is a fearful person. Now, because of one or the other reason, he thought that I am not getting a job, so he passes the exam and he joins the police force. And he becomes a police officer. Internally, he is a timid person, but he is now in a job which needs boldness, bravery. It needs it. To become a police needs a brave heart. You have to face the challenges every single moment. If that person is now facing a situation, that person will run away or shy away from doing the duty. Why? Because internally he is a timid person. He is a fearful person. So there are two parts of that. Karma as my varna, how I am. Now varna, so remember these two parts first. Karma as my varna, my natural inclination, and karma as I selected to do my duties or everyday life. These are two parts. This is. Also, I will clearly say here that varna is not discrimination. Varna vyavastha is not. It is a natural inclination. And we are going to understand the karma from the way of natural inclination. We have to remember that. So this is second bullet point. Then, and how can we find it? By the comfort level. When a person is very comfortably and easily doing even if a challenging job, that means he is of that varna. He is of that varna. And the third bullet point is karma is decided, the fruit of the karma is decided by the intention behind the action. Yes, it is decided by the intention and not the physical action which we see in front of us. These three bullet points are important because based on that the karma yoga will be built on. Our natural inclination, our selected business or profession, and our intention to do that work. These three things are very important. Natural inclination is nothing but by the varna vyavastha. So we will go further on it. So God told Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. So now here we will go with the Karma Yoga further. So God is also knowing very clearly. So God is going step by step, really micro steps to explain exactly what He means. And you know what? It is very important that we go also step by step. Because sometimes people will say, oh, which is the chapter I should read first or which I should be doing in Gita. I always say, read from the sloka 1 to sloka 700. Do not jump because it is in a great sequence. Just like we go from junior kindergarten to grade 10, to grade 12, graduation, master's, PhD, we go in sequence. Exactly in the same way Gita is told in sequence. So we must learn and read it also in sequence because God has told it in sequence. So let us go to the fourth sloka now, where God is trying to explain it in a more detail. So I'll chant the fourth sloka of third chapter. Na karmana manarambha naiskarmyam purushosnute na cha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati. Na karmana anarambha. The God is telling anarambha. Anarambha means not starting. Arambha means to start. Arambha means to initiate. Arambha means an initiation, not physically also, initiation in the mind also. Because any work is actually initiated in the mind and then it comes in the action. So initiation in mind. न कर्मणम कर्मणम anarambha, not initiated. Nai, there is an N, there is another N, and then there are two lines on it. It's a Nai. Naiskarmya, Purusho Snute. Naiskarmya, freedom from the karmic action. Basically, karma फल से freedom. कर्म फल से हमारी मुक्ति. कर्म का आरंभ न करने से हमें कर्म फल से मुक्ति नहीं मिलती. In Hindi, one cannot achieve freedom from karmic reaction by merely abstaining from the work. If you say that I don't want any karma phal, आज गए थे लेक्चर सुनने, टुडे आई वेंट टू लिसन ए लेक्चर एंड आई हर्ड कुछ भी कर्म करो वो फल में बंध जाते हो, कर्म का फल बंधा देता है. कर्म फल इज बाइंडिंग यू एंड दैट बाइंडिंग इज क्रिएटिंग यू फॉर rebirth and whole cycle. So today I will decide I don't want to do anything, nothing, no arambha, not even psychological arambha, psychological starting also I will not do. Even if a person tries to, which is not possible, which will come in the subsequent sloka, even if a person tries to do it, he or she is not escaping from, he or she is not, getting freedom from the karma phal. And we will take an example of it. Let us go to the second stanza and completely understand Anvay of the sloka. Na sanyasana deva, sanyasana, renunciation, chhod dena, leaving. Remember, there are two parts here. One is starting and another is leaving. One is abstaining, other is renunciation. Nacha sanyasana, it is not sanya, it is sanya. Remember this, this is because Sanskrit is very important here. Nacha sanyasana deva siddhim samadhigacchati, adhigacchati means attains, samadhigacchati, attains. By renunciation also, you cannot attain the perfection. Siddhi, perfection, means a state, a perfect state. So God is telling here two things. That number one is by abstaining, means not even starting an action, you cannot escape from the karma phal, from the fruits of the karma. And secondly, by leaving, that means in a halfway, or you started and you thought, okay, I don't want to do it further, something like that. If you leave it also, you are not going to get the siddhi, you will not attain the perfection. What is the meaning of it? So, let us first go here also as a karma, because karma word is here very important. Let me translate it in Hindi also. मनुष्य न तो कर्मों का आरंभ किए बिना निष्कर्मता को प्राप्त होता है और न ही कर्म को त्याग मात्र से सिद्धि को प्राप्त होता है. This is a Hindi translation. So here there are four words: anarambha, niskarmya, sanyasana and siddhi. Anarambha, not starting the work. Abstaining means what? So here it is important that abstaining from the work does not mean that you are not responsible for the work. Let us take an example. It's a story. So there was a sadhu, there was a holy person who was sitting under a tree on a crossroad, and he was trying to do meditation. Now there is a procession going. There is a marriage procession is going. So all the people with nice band and good clothes and jewelry wearing, all the women and so young kids and everybody. There is a marriage procession going, and the marriage procession go in one direction, say right side direction. Okay, and after around 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, the group of dacoits, they come and they ask the sadhu, they ask the holy man, on which side have you seen a procession, a marriage procession going from here, and if it is, then in which direction it has gone? Please let us know. Now imagine the situation. This holy man has taken an oath, jhoot nahi bolunga, I will not tell a lie, because telling a lie is bad, isn't it? So I should not tell a lie. So, going by that principle, should that holy man say the dacoits that, yeah, I have seen a procession going in the right direction 15 minutes before? What will be the consequences? What will be the consequences? They will loot the procession. All the women and the children and everybody will be greatly suffering. So he should not do it. So then we will say, yeah, he should say, I have not seen. What he should say? I have not seen. Tell a lie. Or he should say, no, I mean like he should say an action and say, I don't speak. I have my eyes closed and I don't speak. Anarambha. I will not do anything. I will not reply. What will happen? Maybe the dacoits will beat him. So he still got the karma phal. You are put in a situation and you are supposed to act. If you don't act, you are still going to get a suffering from that inaction. Somebody will say, no, he should direct in the opposite direction. Yeah, well, okay, they will go for 15 minutes and they will come back. They know that there are no, trail marks of the procession. They will come back. They will beat him also and go in the right direction. Point was that by not doing action also, there are repercussions and there are karma phal getting generated from that. So, anarambha, without even starting also, you cannot attain niskarmata. You cannot attain. And second part is tyag matra, tyag karne se. So, even there are so simple examples in our life also. A student who is not studying during the year, what will happen? He has to study during the exam time. Yeah. This is so by not doing something, you are actually getting a consequences later. So anarambha doesn't let you go into a situation where it is niskarmata. Niskarma. Niskarma means what? A karma is getting connected with the reaction. So niskarma means any karma which is not doing or just abstaining here. Okay, here it is not nishkam, because you know what, we have heard so many words that sometimes it gets confused. It is not nishkam, it is niskarma, inaction. The word here meaning inaction. Inaction. So we'll go further on it. So again the same word karma we will try to see, because this karma is getting us. It's very important to understand it. So in karma we have heard lots of. Everybody has heard lots of lectures, YouTube, everywhere, thick books. And big people have explained it in large books, thick books, long lectures, and going into macro level, beating into it, right? One of the schools of thoughts I will just share is telling what? So it is telling about karma, 3 types of karma: Prakriti karma, Pradesh karma, Sthiti karma, and Anubhag karma. And then within Prakriti karma, again, Gnana-varniya karma, Darsha-varniya karma, Antar karma, Mahinya karma, Nama karma, Gotra karma, Vedaniya karma, Ayushya karma. Oh my God. What is happening? You know what? We are mango people. I always laugh at it. हम लोग आम आदमी हैं. We are common people. We are mango people. So we will try to understand it in a simple way. Because generally what is happening, that the more complex a orator is talking, the more complex he is making, he is considered more knowledgeable. आज तो महाराज ने ऐसा कहा क्या कहा समझ में ही नहीं आया, इसलिए वो प्रकांड पंडित है. We are not that. We are very simple. We are mango people. So we will try to understand it in a common term. We will not go into prarabdha karma, purusharth karma, sanchit karma. We will not go into that. We will go and try to understand the definition of karma in a very simple term. Okay? Yeah. So we will divide it into 4 parts. 4 simple parts. First is inaction. You don't do something. Akarma. What it is called as a akarma. You don't do something. It is either by procrastination, idling, indecision, vegetable state of intellect, all those things combined makes you to do what? To do nothing. Even psychologically, nothing. Akarma. You just don't do that. Sitting idle. Yeah. Then second part is vikarma, forbidden. It is a forbidden action to you. Yes. You are not supposed to do it. Now, not supposed to do it by what? By the law? By the religious methods? No. Remember we talked about the karma, varna type and all. By your varna, you are not supposed to do it. Simple as that. Suppose, again we will take the same example of harassment of a person on the road. Okay, if a person is getting harassed and there are two friends who are walking along. One person is a very strong built guy, other person is a very slim guy. Okay. Now this slim guy thinks, oh, I am going to stop these three people with the knives in their hand and I am going to fight for them. It's good, it's great, it's a good heart. But what are the consequences? He is definitely going to get stabbed. You are not designed for it. You are not designed for it. Let us take an example. I always take some crazy examples. So let us take an example. Somebody is telling, the other person that, oh, what do you want to cook today? And the lady is telling, oh, I want to make some tomato ketchup. I want to make some nice tomato ketchup. And I don't know how to do that. So the other person is telling, oh, it is very simple. You just crush tomatoes and then, go through the steering and then you will get some nice tomato juice from it. Oh, that's good. Now, that person doesn't have the crusher, the mixer or anything is not there. So the person thinks, what other way I can crush the tomato? So he thinks, if I can crush the tomato under the car tire, then it is crushed. Or I am going to jump on it. Where car is not designed. Yes, will it able to crush the tomato? Yes. But is it designed to do that? It is not. We sometimes while working, if we don't find the tool, right? You need a hammer, you don't find the hammer. Then you use the spanner to hit the nail. Is it able to hit the nail? Yes. What are the consequences? Chances of accident, chances of getting hurt, damaging, not hitting on the nail and here and there, so damaging the wall. The nail may not fit properly in the wall. Everything will happen if you are using a wrong tool. Anything can happen. As per our varna, if we are not designed for it, then it is our bad idea to continue with that. Same example of the police officer. If he is a timid person, he is not supposed to go into police department. Because he is not designed to do it. Here the karma is exactly the forbidden action. Vikarma is not like, oh, chori nahi karna, kisi ko marna nahi, jhoot nahi bolna. No, not like that. Because that is very common sense. Even the biggest thief, if he is at his home and his son is stealing a chocolate from the jar, he will say, no, don't steal. Yeah. He knows, everybody knows. The thief knows that stealing is wrong. That is why he is going surreptitiously and stealing the thing. Otherwise, if he doesn't know, he will just go and walk in and take the things out of a shop. He knows, he or she very well knows what is right and wrong. So here, vikarma, the forbidden action, is not the definition by the moral values. It is the definition by your nature. It is, you are not designed to do that. You are not supposed to do it. That is what it is. Here, the definition of vikarma, forbidden action, is as per your varna, which you are not supposed to do. Imagine there is a kind-hearted person, a very kind-hearted person, who will not even, kill a mosquito or an ant also. That kind-hearted person is now put into war, one or the other reason. Will he be able to shoot the enemy soldier? No. So for him to go into a war is a vikarma, forbidden action. So the first one was akarma, inaction. The second one is forbidden action. Yeah, if there is a person who is morally corrupt, he doesn't feel wrong into doing incorrect things. If that person becomes a government officer, he is going to take bribe. He is going to do all the kind of wrong things being an officer in a position. So a corrupt-minded person should not become an income tax officer. He should not become a government officer, because he will use his power for the wrong thing. That is what it is. Here when we are telling vikarma is in that matter. Vikarma is not in the moral values matter. हाँ, चोरी नहीं करना, झूठ नहीं बोलना, don't tell a lie, don't steal, help people. No. The vikarma from my varna, how I am built to crush a tomato with a car to make a tomato juice is a vikarma for a car, because it's not designed to do that. That is what the vikarma is. We will come to that, because we are making, all those big karma thing we are making into small 4 segments. One was inaction, which we took. Second one is vikarma, the thing which I am not designed for, the thing which I am not supposed to be doing. As per my varna, as per my nature, I try to do it. The third is karma. Karma means what I am expected as per my varna. Vikarma means I am not expected per my varna. Karma means I am expected from my varna. That is exactly even God told. Right? God told Arjun that you are a warrior, and that is why your karma is to go for a war and fight your war. So karma means the recommended action as per your varna. Vikarma means forbidden actions as per your varna. So we took 3 things: inaction, forbidden actions, recommended action. And fourth is nishkarma, which we are going to attain. Very simple. But we will not go to nishkarma. Nishkarma means unattached action. And this we are going to study in the chapter further. What we are going to study is important to know what we are studying also. Otherwise we are all getting confused, and there is such a amount of cloud and fog and dust and all the smoke and smog is created that it is becoming so difficult. नींद आ जाती है, सो जाएंगे. 10 types of karma you study, oh my God, will sleep. 50% of people will sleep within first 10 minutes. So we are going with a very simple definition: inaction, forbidden actions, recommended action, and unattached action. Unattached action we will see it further, but these 3 things we have to remember: akarma, vikarma, and karma. Inaction, forbidden action, and recommended action as per our varna. Remember, as per our varna, and not as per the government law, not as per the religious guiding, not as per the moral values, not as per the what is taught by our other people. It is by what we are born with. Example is our great Chhatrapati Shivaji. Chhatrapati Shivaji was a born warrior. He was a born person to make an independent Hindvi Swarajya. He was born with the quality and then nurtured for that quality to grow further. His father was not there. His father will say, okay, you come into Aurangzeb court and do the Kurnish. But he will not do it because he is born with it. Now somebody will say, okay, you are talking about all these things, where it is, how it is. Very simple. We always talk about, oh, there is a generation gap, my child is not listening to me. And the son is telling, oh, my dad is a stupid guy, he doesn't understand, he is not cool. That is what is coming here, exactly same thing. The way your son or daughter is born with, the qualities with which he or she is born with, you have not get it into them. They are born with it. They are born with it. Try to support that. Try to grow that quality into a more better area, into more better quality. Don't try to bend it and try to make it in your way. That is where the whole generation gap is coming. This definition, if you understand the forbidden actions, vikarma, that is what it is. The child is varna, remember again, not the jati, not the caste. I have to repeat it multiple times because it becomes very difficult. We are not taught clearly on that. That is why. It is the varna by the nature. My son is brave by nature. Then you put him in military, you put him in police, you put him in politics. My son is by nature introvert. Make him a computer programmer because he will sit at the corner somewhere and do the programming. My son learns, understands the music very well. Make him a good musician. Even if you are a biggest industrialist and you are running so many shops or whatever your business is, because he is not born with it. When this is understood, the whole issue of generation gap, the whole issue of the father and the son and the kids are not understanding will be resolved because you understand now. He is born with that. He or she, whatever they are born with, everything is required. Even a cobbler is also required, and the scientist is required, a musician is required. The world needs every skill. Whatever skill they are born with, let them grow in it. Let them grow with it. Support it. And they will blossom into a great flower. They will blossom into a best musicians. Why don't we do we not even get surprised nowadays that we don't get best sculptors nowadays, sculpture people or great musicians or great thinkers, great leaders? Why don't we get it? Because when the kids are born, the parents are guiding them against their nature. Then it becomes a generation gap and the poor guy doesn't understand, जीना है तो खाना पड़ेगा, ऊपर नीचे जाना पड़ेगा, पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी. Then the person is working in an entirely different karma, the second part, the professional part of karma. He is doing that, but it will not go into a good quality. Why? Because he is not of that type by his varna. That is what is important here. So we will understand that, the karma part very clearly here. So 4 part again: inaction, forbidden action, recommended action, and unattached action. These are the 4 areas we are going to talk about. And nishkarma, nishkarma in one definition, one sentence, maybe little after a while we will talk about it. But nishkarma means doing your recommended action, means doing your karma, doing your recommended action, being unattached. What is a nishkarma? Doing your recommended action unattached. Do the karma as per your varna, and while doing the karma as per your varna, don't get attached. That is what it is telling. That is nishkarma. We'll come to that. It is a complex thing to understand unless we understand the first 3 terms: akarma, vikarma, and karma. So we'll go to that. But before we go into that, we will talk about sannyasana and siddhi, because we have to complete this sloka, right? The second part of the sloka. Sannyasana, renunciation. This should not be mixed with sannyas. Sannyas is samyaknas. You are going near to something. Here, renunciation means you are running away. You are leaving the world. Sannyasana. It is not sannyas, it is sannyasana. Okay? Yeah. Very important. They look same. Because they are based on the same original base word, and that is why they look same. But sannyasana is not sannyas, it is renunciation. Okay? A true sannyasi will never run away. Anyway. So here the meaning of sannyasana and siddhi, it means that action is started and then left by physically disengaging. You start an action, that action is against your varna, against your way of working, so you leave it halfway. But by leaving it halfway also, you do not get the siddhi, you do not attain the perfection. That is what is it. So now we'll go further, because God is also going in micro level, so we will also go one by one, step by step. The moment he is putting his foot up, we are going to put the same foot, our foot, try to, because we can't. But we'll try to put our foot right on the same step, so that we can understand. So we'll go to the 5th sloka. 5th sloka will go. Nahi kaschit षणमपि जातु तिष्ठत्य कर्मकृत् कायते यः वश कर्म सर्व प्रकृति जैर गुणे नहीं, never and certainly never. Kaschit means anyone, anybody. Kaschit षणमपि, kshana, moment. Kshana doesn't mean second, it is much lower amount than second. Even for a moment, even for a kshana, jatu means ever. Ever anybody can become akarmakrut. Akarmakrut means inaction. Remember we talked about the first inaction. So God is explaining about the first part, inaction. Yeah. There is no one who can remain without an action even for a moment. Kaschit kshanamapi jatu tishtha akarmakrut. A person cannot even for a moment become inactive or inaction or without action. So the very first definition which we talk about akarma, inaction, God is telling is not possible. The first 25% of our example, God is telling it is not possible. कोई भी मनुष्य किसी भी अवस्था में क्षण मात्र भी कर्म किए बिना नहीं रह सकता. How? Why? Because कार्यते यह वश कर्म. वश सर्व प्रकृति जैर गुणे. What is happening? Because we are made out of a material body. We are made out of a material body. We are material nature. We are physical. There is a soul inside, but we are physical. So because of the prakriti, we are pushed. Vasha. We are pushed. Vasha. Vasha means we have to. We paravash. We are dependable. Rather, like pulled in. Parvash. Prakriti, because of the prakriti, because of we are born with a material nature, that is why we are compelled to do the action. That is what God is explaining here. Now, being a prakriti janya means being a material world means what? We understand it very clearly. We are born, the flesh, born, skin, eyes, ears, 5 ज्ञानेंद्रिय और 5 कर्मेंद्रिय. Five senses of working and 5 senses for understanding the outside world. And the 11th is the mind, man. Yeah, that is what it is. So, because they are going through a predefined cycle, anything which is born has to die. We know that. Anything which is born has to consume something outside to stay in the position. To some extent, it goes into second law of motion by Newton. Newton's second law of motion. Anything to exist in its situation, it needs something, and it will change its course when there is an external factor comes into effect. In effect, this is what is here also applicable. How we can see it. So let us take, if we are born, suppose a person is deciding that I don't want to do anything. He will be sleeping in the couch. In the morning he will decide, Pandit ji told me, if you do any karma, तो मैं कर्म का फल भुगतना पड़ेगा. आज से कर्म करूंगा ही नहीं. I will not do anything. अकर्मा, inaction. भगवान ने भले ही बोला न कच्चित मपी, मैं नहीं करूंगा. I will not do. What will happen? After 10 minutes he has to go to washroom. After 2 hours he will be feeling hungry. After 5 hours he has to take a bath, otherwise he will smell very bad. Prakriti janya. You are born with it. You have to do it. Even if you have got millions of dollars and you have got thousands of employees and servants, doesn't help. You have to do the work. Prakriti janya you have to do. There is no alternative to it. You cannot say other person that you do the exercise and I will become stronger. You cannot say other person that you drink the water and my thirst will be quenched. Not possible. Prakriti janya is by nature, by the qualities which we are born as a material nature, we have to do that action. We sweat, we breathe, we hear, we see. Aha, that means it is applicable to live things. No, even it is non-live things also. There is a procedure of birth and death. You make a knife. Suppose you make it a chair or a knife or anything for that matter. Okay, you to make a knife. If you do not keep it clean, if you do not sharpen it properly, if you do not use it, what happens? Eventually, it will start corrosion. It will corrode, and one day it will become powder, iron oxide. That is the death of a knife. A chair, a termite will come, some fungi will come, humidity will start distorting it. Yeah, the chair will also one day die. Anything which is material nature, live or dead, is going to die. It's little funny to say that a dead thing is going to die, like a chair is going to die. It's little funny, but to understand it. Anything which is born is going to die. And this is answering something. You know what? There are many people who ask this question. अच्छा, तुम्हारे भगवान थे तो मर क्यों गए? हाँ, तुम्हारे भगवान आए ना. Your God came as a avatar. Then how come a God dies? A God should not die. He is God. God has also to die. If God is come as an avatar, God has to die. This is the principle. It is a principle of material nature. Anything which becomes a material nature has to die. It may be longer period, shorter period, doesn't matter. But there is an end to it. Maybe thousands of years. But it will die one day. Even a God has to die. So, number one part is, because we are material nature, we have got a compulsion. We are compelled to do the thing. So what are the characteristics of a material nature? What are the characteristics of a material nature? हमारा body है, उसका qualities, the characteristic है. Why do we understand that? Because we have to do that. You remember we talked about it. We have to do our karma. Our karma should be as per our nature. So we should know our nature. Prakriti Janya, what is my body made of, and how do I do that? Yeah. To maintain a state, we need an external factor. Still we are going to die, but it is, we have to maintain a state. Khana padega. Every day you should be eating, you should take a good sleep, you should drink a good amount of water and liquids, so that your body will continue to sustain. It will grow. And now what will happen? You consume even in biology, when you eat something to keep alive, your stomach will start working. Now your stomach will work, it will make the blood and the heart will pump and all that. Now your heart is pumping and pumping 60 years, 70 years, 80 years. One day it will deteriorate. So even if we use a resource to sustain, that resource is indirectly killing you also. There is a nice poem in Gujarati language. There was a big poet, and he wrote this sentence: "Je poshatu te maratu te kram dise che kudrati." Je poshatu te maratu te kram dise che kudrati. It seems a clear-cut kudrati, a natural cycle, that the one who is nurturing you, poshatu, poshan karna, one who is nurturing you is also killing you. You need sugar to maintain the energy in your muscles, in your body. But the same sugar is going to make you diabetes and fail the organs. Te poshatu te martu. Because why? Because we are a material nature person. That is one. Behind all this is a law of energy. To maintain a state, we need external factors, and this consumes the life of the present material body. That is what is happening. And also for non-living, same thing. If you need a knife not to get corroded, you have to put it in the oil. Now, even if you put it in the oil will eventually evaporate, and the knife will also corrode. That is what is seen in the Egyptian pyramids. They have found weapons, they have found the food items like honey and all, but they are all perished. After thousands of years, it perished. Even though they tried to maintain it in a really good shape, it perished. Everything perishes. Even non-living things are perishing. Yeah. Sometimes we can slow it down. We can slow it down sometimes. But we cannot avoid it. Why? Because we are born with a material nature. Yeah. We are embodied. We are mortal. And we exist through the material world also. So we need external materials to exist ourselves as a material world. That is also there. It is also applicable. So as we are embodied and mortal and existing through the material world, we have to do the action. We will take a various example. During the sleep, our body is functioning, the heart is pumping, we are digesting, sweating, turning side, dreaming. We are doing it. Even while sleeping, we are doing the actions. During a state of coma even, our organs are working. Even if we are told as our brain is completely stopped, not doing anything, not a single electrical signals are generated, still our body is functioning. If somebody will pinch something to a person who is sleeping, he will, by reflection, he will take the leg up, ouch, by reflection. So we are alive continuously inside, even if we are sleeping. And even after dying, somebody will say, they'll say, aha, okay, then what happens if we die? Then all the karma will be gone. Then we have not to do. Because, you told that dead things are also going through the life. So we are also, suppose dead, then we are not going through that further. We have to, because there is a karma fruit. There is a balanced fruit. And because there is a balanced fruit, which are of material nature, why we have to, see, important thing is why we have to got rebirth. Somebody will say, this is very important part in Sanatana Dharma and other schools of thoughts. We will take a little bit of time over there. In Sanatan, we say that whatever actions you have done, there are fruits generated, and these fruits, to consume those fruits, you have to get the rebirth. So, what it means? You are a material nature body. You did some actions. Those actions created the fruit. Those fruits, naturally, as they are generated from the material body, they are of material nature. They are of material nature. And to consume that fruit, you have to come back to material nature. Nahi. If it is a material nature fruit, you have to come back into a material nature to get it. Let us take a simple example. एक आदमी ने एक भिखारी को, one person gave $5 to a beggar. Very good job. And the beggar was happy, beggar was hungry, beggar eat some coffee and donut, and beggar blessed. You gave me $5, you will get $500. Yeah, a really good blessing. The beggar gave the blessing. Now this person goes and he's doing some business or whatever, and he makes $500. Yes, he makes $500. The blessings are proven correct. The blessings are proved. Truth. But to consume that $500, that person has to go into material body or not, into a material work. He has to consume that, I will buy $500, I will buy something, I will buy a bicycle, or I will buy something, or I will buy a sari for my wife, or whatever. That material fruit has to be consumed by the material world. That fruit cannot be consumed by a non-material world. Because the fruit is created by the material world. In other schools of thoughts, you lose your body after you die. What happens? You go to heaven. In what state? Nobody knows. Whether you are physical, you are non-physical, and then there are guesswork and all those books are written. And I am not criticizing them. They have got that school of thought. But is it complete? The question is completeness of the schools of thought. Is it complete? So you will go up somewhere or down somewhere, we do not know, and then there will be a heaven or hell, and then you will be punished. Again, for punishment, the examples are physical nature. Again, for punishment, the examples are physical nature. तुम्हारी महीन चमड़ी को उबलते हुए तेल में, your tender skin will be boiled into a boiling oil. Isn't it a material nature? Again, it is a material nature. So karma pal is always material nature because it is generated from the material nature. This is to be understood. And this is where it is disengaging. How come a karma phal, which is coming from a material nature, can become a non-material nature by going to heaven or hell? Not possible. It is against the law of energy. Acha, so in Sanatan also you got Swarg and Nark. Yeah, it is there. And that definition is definitely going to come. Arjun asked and God explained what is Narka. It is very clearly written there. But that is not the Narka in our mind. The people in the hell will with the big horns and big teeth. They are going to catch you and cut you every day. That is material nature, isn't it? It is material nature punishment. And same way material nature rewards. You will get all the beautiful things and comfort in the heaven. Again it is material nature. If I am going to leave my material body here, how come the material nature comes into heaven or hell? That is where it is disengaging. That is where it is not connected. Anyway, so it is, I am not telling it is wrong or right. I am not demeaning it. I am telling that there has to be logical reasoning. There has to be a clear-cut understanding. If we are material nature and if we do something, the fruits are created of material nature and we should come back to consume that material nature fruits. That is what I am trying to say here. And even this rule is applicable even to the animals also. Even for animals also, the same rule is applicable. But the principle of karma is not applicable. Remember, the animals are doing it by instinct and they get the result by instinct again. But they are not in the theory of karma as per our law number 1 because they do not have the free will. They do not have the free will. So karma, they are getting the phala, but it is not the phala as a karma phala. It is by the instinct and the action and reaction. So for animals also, even though karma yoga is not applicable to them, they do not have an independent intellect to decide. They decide on the basis of intellect and as a survival. Let us take an example. In the forest, we know that in the continent of Africa, there are ants. There are some type of ants. And what happens that when there is a forest fire, these ants understand that now there is a fire coming. You know, the fire is going ahead and ahead in the grassland and all that. Now what happens? If that fire is going to cover all that area, all the ants are going to die. So what does the ant do? It looks like they are intellectual. Because what do? All of them, majority of the ants decide and they go towards the fire. They go towards the fire. Yeah. They go one above the other and they make a kind of a wall. And all of them die. They burn. But what happens? Because of that, the chemicals which are coming out of their body stops the fire at that limit. And all the other ants who are within that area are surviving. It looks like a karma. It looks like they decided with the intellect and then they do the karma and they will get the karma phal. No, it is not. It is by their nature. It is by their survival technique. It is not by the intellect, but it is on the basis of the instinct. So we have to remember this, that it is by the instinct how it is coming. So first here God told that nobody can even for a moment be inactive. And secondly, why? Because they are by the prakriti, yavasha, avasha. By the prakriti, by the compulsion of the material nature, the person has to do the work. So he cannot do that. Then God is going further. The 6th sloka. Karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasa smaran indriyarthavan vimudhatma mityacharasa uchyate. Karmendriyani sanyamya. What does it mean? It means that those who restrain the external organs for inaction while continuing to dwell on the senses objects in the mind certainly delude themselves and are to be called as hypocrite. Mithyachar. Here there are two words, mithyachar and dambhi. In Hindi we can say jo karmendriyo ko hatapurvak rokkar. Now here we are talking about again the inaction by compelling the body, by compelling the senses. Those people who do indriyo ke vishayo ka chintan karta, but in the mind they still think about it. By physically they are restraining their senses, but in the mind they are thinking Who are they? They are hypocrite, mithyachari and dambi, deluded and hypocrite. So we are going to take this next week again. It's almost 11 o'clock now. So we will stop over here on the on this sloka, sixth sloka, and we will try to understand the difference between mithyachari and dambi, deluded and hypocrite. What's the difference, and what does the God mean by that? Till then, I wish everyone a good, happy weekend. Enjoy your time. It's a nice weather outside, little rainy. Drive safely, and we will meet again next Saturday, 10 to 11 at Durga temple. Till then, stay safe and take your flu shots if you are not taken. Vasudevasutam devam Kansachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Para Brahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah.